I'm here at a protest outside Downing Street calling for more action after an Islamist terrorist drove up to a synagogue in Manchester on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, and rammed Jews with his car before getting out and stabbing people. 2 are now dead as a result of that terrorist attack. We are here and we are demanding action from this government. I'm going to speak with people, see what they say. Why have you come out tonight?
Because it's so important to make sure that we don't just speak as we use words, but we actually take actions. And for 2 years we've been crying out about the dangers of extremism online and elsewhere, and we will not be heard. And if we are not heard, you're not going to be heard, and you're not going to be heard. So who's going to be next? Last week a Jew was murdered, 2 were killed in terrorist attack. What's next? We have been calling against it for 2 years and nobody listened. Now it's time for action. I don't want to hear any more words, I want actions.
I detect by your accent you may be Israeli. How do you feel when people on the street say you don't have a right to exist?
So I'm proud British and Israeli, and I tell you, we have right to exist. Those people who chant there, let them go, have right to exist, you have right to exist, and no one will tell us what our right, because we are humans and we all judge by the divine, by God. We all have right to exist. They will not scare us.
It's about the huge growth of anti-Semitism in Britain, but I mean worldwide. I mean it's been exacerbated by the hate marches, quite honestly, which are actually sort of incitements to violence against Jews. I mean, that's what free Palestine from the river to the sea means. It means getting rid of all the Jews, obliterating Israel. So who do they think lives in Israel? It's Jews. So it is actually an anti-Semitic position, and globalise the Intifada. What do they think that means? It means Jews everywhere.
It doesn't mean let's all hold hands and sing.
Anti-Semitism, mutates. And in my view, the anti-Semitism that's going on at the moment is the demonization of Israel, the homeland of the Jews. That's what Israel is. And so if you say, Israel is evil, doesn't have even the right to exist, what are you saying?
Well, there's a big difference between criticising Israel the way anyone would criticise any other country and saying this country doesn't have a right to exist. There's a huge difference. Let's just look at this flag that you've got. So what's going on here?
So this is a flag that is in commemoration for my Italian Jewish family who were Holocaust victims.
Wow, that's really nice. And what's on the other side of that?
Oh, that's the British flag. I've come here because of Manchester, really, I guess. And for me, it's about feeling safe and what my family went through. I know it was a long time ago and it's not directly kind of linked to me. I didn't even know about it that much until quite recently. But I feel it very personally now, and I think it's important to say that it matters.
When you first heard about Manchester, how did you feel?
I think I felt just a really sinking sense of this is really bad initially. And I live up in Camden Town, and we were woken up at 3 a.m. by the fireworks of people coming back from the firework protests that happened that evening. And we didn't know what it was about at the time until I looked up the next day. But it made it very real, actually, to be woken up at 3 a.m. And yeah, that was quite shocking to me, how much that affected me.
And these were protests that were through London calling for Intifada and Zionists out and this sort of thing?
I am under the impression that they were celebrating Manchester with fireworks in central London that night. And then presumably they were getting home. I don't know. That's just my imagining. It's unusual to get fireworks at 3 a.m. in London.
What do you have there? You have one of our placards.
It says, reward terrorism, get terrorism, which I think is probably true.
And what does the other side say?
I'm not...
Enforcement, not appeasement. Well, that's what we want. We don't want any more appeasement of these people on the streets. We want actual action and enforcement of the law. Why have you come out tonight?
I just feel very strongly about the anti-Semitism. I'm not that political myself, and I think there should be peace for everyone. But anti-Semitism, I think, has risen so much, and I think it's disgusting, and not enough people care. So I felt like this is the least I could kind of do to be here in my mind. They don't need to be the same issue. People can not agree with the government and still like Jewish people, and I think too many people are jumping on the bandwagon because it's cool on social media. They think it's cool to hate Jews, and it's not. I know my grandpa, who's passed away, he said like, oh, we'll never see anything like this again, and my mum just keeps saying like he'd hate this, like we're seeing the beginning of things again. I hope it's nothing the same, but I just think for all the people who can't be here and would hate to see the rise in anti-Semitism, I want to be here.
So I have to say, I think the police here today have done a great job so far. There was scheduled to be a Palestine demonstration 1 hour before this one, but the police imposed conditions upon them swiftly and they are not allowed in the area. I have seen 1 or 2 arrests so far. And, you know, I'm grateful to the police for ensuring our safety, especially at a time like this when we are all gathering here because of this horrendous terrorist attack.
If you go on social media, you do not have to go more than 2 posts to go to the comment section and just see straight anti-Semitism, Holocaust denial, references to Jewish people controlling things, references to Jewish people being responsible for what, you know, it'll be a random post and then the comments will be like, oh, I think an Israeli had an involvement here. And it's just like trying to be like, oh, it's a post about rape or a post about murder, and all the comments will be like, oh, it's just like an Israeli or just like a Jew would do this. And like, you don't have to go far, and that will impact the youth. That makes the youth feel unsafe. And I've seen so much anti-Semitism on Instagram, you report it, nothing happens, and people have far-right anti-Semites or far-left anti-Semites, Islamist anti-Semites, whatever you call it, they have developed a coded language to get around hate speech laws. So they are adapting to the hate speech laws that are put in place on the apps, which aren't that good anyway.
You don't want to be on camera? No worries. Can I ask, why have you come here tonight?
I didn't know that this was happening today until I left work and I called my boyfriend who's Jewish, and he mentioned that his mum was here and that this was happening. And anti-Semitism in the UK is something very important to me, and I absolutely had to come down and support the Jewish community in England, and I wanted to be an ally today.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I think a lot of people will, and we could use more people such as yourself. You mentioned your boyfriend is Jewish and his mum is Jewish. I take it that you're not Jewish?
No, I'm not.
What has it been like for you, seeing anti-Semitism with your boyfriend being Jewish?
I mean, it's deeply heartbreaking. It really, really upsets me. You know, when I was walking past you, I was crying. You know, it's something that shouldn't be happening in 2025. And the only experience I've had with the Jewish community in London is one of acceptance, one of inclusivity, one of love, one of peace. And it's just completely devastating that we have to be standing up for Jews in the UK and that we have to call out anti-Semitism. And so seeing it through his lens and through his family, I can only begin to try and understand.
Let's get a shot of this flag. It's the Union Jack with the Star of David. Tell us about this.
Well, this is a flag that's been issued now, especially for the 2 years by Stop the Hate. We wanted to emphasize the intricate of British Jews in this country, and I think this flag exemplify exactly what it is. As you can see, it fits perfectly, as it should be.
It's not for the first time. Things have gone too far with the hate marches and anti-Semitism, especially, I belong to the alternative scene, and even there it's growing and it's, disgusting. So we want our country back.
As a Jewish person, when you see these marches on our street that are basically saying Zionists out, and by the way, we know what they mean when they say Zionists.
We do indeed.
They're calling for intifada. We know what that is as well. How does that make you feel?
Not comfortable, very uncomfortable. Yeah, it worries me, I think, as well. I do worry about my children and my grandchildren's future as to what's happening, and across Europe, not just in this country.
Thank you all for coming here tonight. It is 1 week after the Yom Kippur terrorist attack, and we will be back here if we need to. We want to know now from that place what is going to be done.
So there you have it. Behind me is Downing Street, and no one in there bothered to show up, despite the fact that days ago an Islamist terrorist drove up to a synagogue in Manchester, hit people with his car, got out and stabbed people. 2 people are now dead because of him. By the way, this was on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. And why did he do this? Because anti-Semitism in this country has been allowed to get to the point that it is now. You know, in our media, in our hospitals, universities, institutions, there is a real problem in this country. And let's not forget, on our streets, day in, day out, you will find Palestine demonstrators calling for intifada and calling for Zionists to get out. And by the way, we know what that means, and they don't mean Zionists. And this isn't being challenged. This isn't being acknowledged. When someone brings it up, what do they say? Gosh, yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it is bad, and you're the people who are meant to do something about it. So do something about it. 2 successive governments have let it get to this point. 2 years of anti-Semitism have got us to this point. And now 2 are dead because it has gotten to this point. We need real action now. We've had the thoughts and prayers. Thanks very much. We want action. We want you to do something about it. So do something about it.